Good morning, everyone. So, welcome to another edition of the Daily Hindu Newspaper Analysis, which is basically a Neet Taragati news podcast of 27th August 2020. So, basically, through this program, we shall discuss the relevant articles from the Hindu newspaper for Group 1, Group 2, UPSC, and other examinations. And along with the daily Hindu newspaper analysis, which is basically we'll see the articles ఏవైతే మనకి గ్రూప్ 1 అండ్ గ్రూప్ 2కి మోస్ట్ పర్టినెంట్ ఉన్నాయో ఏపీపీఎస్సీకి అలాగే యూపీఎస్సీ ఎడిటోరియల్స్ ఇన్ ద ప్రిలిమ్స్ బిట్స్ వీ షిల్ డిస్కస్ అండ్ దీంతో పాటు వీ హ్యావ్ యాడెడ్ ద ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్. Two mains questions will be given to you after the session, and you can write your answers for them, and you can freely submit and get yourself evaluated on the Telegram group. The link for the Telegram group is there in the description below, Newspaper Analysis 2020. And through that, you can make use of this free mains answer writing session also. And the assessment will be submitted to you before night each day by our faculty. And since we have crossed 100 subscribers and our aim is 1000 subscribers for live classes, we sincerely request you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow our courses and make use of such free initiatives like mains answer writing and the Hindu analysis. And even Telegram ఛానల్లో మీకు ఏవైతే హిందూ న్యూస్ పేపర్ అనాలిసిస్ అయితే ఇది దీంతో మీకు సరిపోతుంది పర్ఫెక్ట్లీ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ కోసం. అదేవిధంగా ఆల్ ఇండియా రేడియో అప్డేట్స్ అండ్ రాజ్యసభ టీవీ అప్డేట్స్ అలాగే డిడి సప్తగిరి నుంచి కూడా కొన్ని ఇంపార్టెంట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఇవన్నీ ప్రాపర్గా మీకు ఒక దగ్గర ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది టెలిగ్రామ్ గ్రూప్లో. సో ప్లీజ్ ఫాలో దట్. అండ్ without delaying it more, let us start today's newspaper discussion. So the headlines for today is at opposition meeting, CM's plan to move Supreme Court on JEE and NEET. So the states ruled by BJP rivals, they are likely to file a joint review petition in Supreme Court against the Union Education Minister's decision to go ahead with the JEE and NEET in September. So this is the most important decision which was taken, and they also took decision that they wanted a revisit of the GST framework if union government is unable to pay compensation. Compensation ఇవ్వలేకపోతుంది GSTలో మనకి we have compensation which have to be given to the states. So that refusal for compensation is there of GST revenue. So these issues are there. Of course, this is an entirely political news. But here, in this paragraph, we have the burning issues of federalism. Like Sonia Gandhi, she highlighted that delayed GST payments, ordinances on agricultural marketing, draft environment impact assessment notification 2020, auction of coal mines, privatization of public sector assets, and national education policy. ఇవన్నిటిపైన there should be a discussion. And all of these are the burning issues for the federalism in the country. And definitely you can expect questions on these, right? ఈ పొలిటికల్ న్యూస్ పక్కన పెడితే దిస్ ఇస్ ద న్యాక్ ఆఫ్ యూపీఎస్సీ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ వేర్ మీకు పొలిటికల్ న్యూస్లో కూడా యూ షుడ్ బి ఏబుల్ టు ఐడెంటిఫై ద క్వశ్చన్స్ విచ్ కెన్ బి ఆస్డ్. సో బర్నింగ్ ఇష్యూస్ ఇక్కడ మనం హైలైట్ చేసాం, అండ్ వీటిపై నుంచి మీకు డెఫినెట్లీ మెయిన్స్లో క్వశ్చన్స్ రావచ్చు ఈ అన్ని ఇష్యూస్ పైన. ఓకే, అండ్ ఆఫ్ కోర్స్ ద నీట్ జేఈ పోస్ట్పోన్మెంట్ పైన మీకు క్వశ్చన్ రాకపోవచ్చు, బట్ ఇట్స్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఫర్ యువర్ ప్రిపరేషన్ ఆల్సో. Like Mamata Banerjee, she told that students are going through uncertainty and mental agony. Now, how will the students reach the examination centers considering curtailed transport facilities in many states? So they are saying we should go to the Supreme Court to postpone the examinations. As you know, last week, the Supreme Court judge bench, headed by Mr. Arun Mishra, they flatly declined hearing the petition on postponement of NEET and JEE. And Supreme Court ruled that NEET and JEE won't be postponed. So akkad nunchi all this issue and the student protests, they've been started. That's it. There's nothing more important for us here. And you can see the related news. Everything is political news ikkada. CMs, they express their helplessness in fighting the pandemic with limited resources. Okay, so next article, and we shall begin the APPSC related news ikkadi nunchi. త్రీ క్యాపిటల్స్ కేసు ఏదైతే ఉందో దీనిపైన అయితే హైకోర్ట్ ఏపీ హైకోర్ట్ హ్యాస్ పుట్ అ స్టే ఆర్డర్ ఆన్ దట్ so that the and then the state government we filed a special leave petition. The act is basically decentralization and inclusive development of all regions, and the CRDA repeal acts. They're scheduled to be heard on High Court on August 27th when the status quo expires. అది అయ్యేలోపు సుప్రీం కోర్ట్ హ్యాస్ refused to set this aside. Okay, Supreme Court rejected the state government's plea to vacate the High Court stay on the matter and hoped that the case would be dealt in an expeditious manner in the lower court. So this is the gist of the article. As you know, for a brief history, the High Court first granted status quo and impugned legislations for 10 days on August 4th in response to petition by aggrieved farmers and subsequently extended to the August 27th. So ఇవాళ ఏదైతే కేసు అవుతుందో, let us see the judgment. I'm sure it will be a explosive judgment, and tomorrow we shall deal with the Decentralization and Inclusive Development Act and the CRDA Repeal Act. All of them will read at length tomorrow. Yesterday the Supreme Court said we cannot take it up because the status quo edaithe undo, it was been given by the High Court, and munda case avanavandi appudu chuddam. State government argument enti? State government has been saying that the High Court effectively stayed the implementation of said act without proper justification. So the constitutionality of a statute is presumed to be upheld until proven otherwise. But the High Court has overlooked this position. And you know that three capitals issue, the state government is trying to develop Amravati, Kurnool, and Vizag as legislative, judicial, and executive capitals, claiming that the meager resources do not permit construction of greenfield capital in Amravati. And the three capitals would facilitate balanced development of coastal districts and Rayalaseema. Anyway, tomorrow I am sure we'll have a good discussion on the entire decentralization and three capitals case. This is extremely important for the APPSC examinations, both prelims and mains. You can definitely expect a question from this. Okay, so stay tuned to eTaragati. Let us see the issue tomorrow. And we have some other articles related to AP governance. The first is 10,000 crores, 10,311 crores have been sanctioned to projects in Rayalaseema by a special Chief Secretary Aditya Nath Das నుంచి ఇరిగేషన్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ శాంక్షన్ చేశారు. ఇవేంటివి? They would lift water from Galeru Nagari Sujala Sravanti to Handri Niva Sujala Sravanti. Okay, Galeru Nagari and Handri Niva are important projects, and 5,000 crores have been given for constructing schemes Galeru Nagari nunchi Handri Niva varaku. And 3,000 crores have been given for upgrading Gandikota Chitravati balancing reservoir lifts and Gandikota Paidipalam lifts. Okay. And beside some 1,000 crore have been given for construction of lift scheme in Kadapa district for lifting 350 cusecs of water in 2 stages. CBR to Yerraballi tank and Yerraballi tank to Giddagangivaripalli reservoir. Okay, and a new reservoir in Giddagangivaripalli would be used to supply the irrigation water to the UCL project affected villages for 10,000 acres under the micro irrigation Vemula and Pulivendula of Kadapa district. Okay, so please remember these project names which are important for preliminary examinations, and mains lo kuda we have water resources. Water resources అనేది అసలు రిసోర్సెస్ అనేది ఎన్నిసార్లు రిపీట్ అయిందంటే we have it in AP geography, under GS2, then AP economy, GS4, and science and technology lo kuda there are water resources. GS5, basically environment resources part. So water resources are very important. You should have a comprehensive idea for it if you're preparing for APPSC. And these names of these projects, you can mention it. Like recently, the AP government has sanctioned 10,000 crores for projects in Rayalaseema, and many are for Galer Nagari to Handri Neva, Sujal Sravanti, అండ్ అలాగే గండికోట లిఫ్ట్ స్కీమ్స్లో కూడా ఇవి ఉన్నాయని చెప్పచ్చు. Just 1-2 lines are important for mains or for prelims. The names of projects are very important. Okay, the next part in AP governance is Andhra Pradesh is keen on setting up a bulk drug park in at least 2,000 acres under the bulk drug park scheme. Okay, 2,000 acres lo bulk drug park is being planned, and it is ready to constitute AP Bulk Drug Infrastructure Corporation for the purpose. Okay, the central government, it proposes to develop 3 BDPs in partnership and through grant and aid with state, with a maximum limit of 1,000 crore per park with 70% financial assistance to the selected park. This is the central government proposal, and AP government is very keen to take it up. Okay, and it was stated that AP is keen on playing a major role in Indian pharmaceutical sector, and it basically stood in the third position with $5 billion output and $1 billion worth of exports. And the AP BDIC ఏదైతే చూసామో Bulk Drug Infrastructure Corporation, it will be set up by the APIIC, and the AP BDIC will have an initial board with special chief secretary as chair. ఇంత అక్కర్లేదు. The pharmaceutical sector, you should know that there is this AP Bulk Drug Infrastructure Corporation and a bulk drug park is being planned. And central government proposal already on the maximum 1,000 crore and 70% financial assistance, so it will put up. Okay. The next under the AP basically agriculture, and agriculture linka specifically use horticulture. Is banana production lo AP has got the first rank. And asal horticulture sector చూస్తే all over the country lo AP stands second rank. So అందుకే horticulture or horticulture related news are very important for AP. That is the reason why we have a separate horticulture department in AP. Okay, అంత important మనకి horticulture అనేది. And you can see yesterday AP has occupied the top slot in banana cultivation. And initially 2015 లో 79,000 hectares ఉండేది, and this has increased to 1 lakh hectares in 2018. And దీని వల్ల the production saw increase from 62,000 so and so to 62 lakh కి అయింది, 62 lakh metric tons. Initially it was only 34, so almost double అయింది production. The government has identified banana as one of the growth engine crops for the gross state domestic production, and even the FPOs in AP, they are being promoting banana. The area, if you see, from 0.54 lakh hectares, it has increased to 0.79. That is also roughly doubling. So all these measures have been taken. And the commissioner, the horticulture commissioner Chiranjeev Chaudhary, he has told he had received basically recently the Banana Export Promotion Award from ICR. And state Andhra Pradesh has flagged off India's first fruit train, banana train from Tadipatri to Gateway Port for exports. Okay, the state fruit train could important for preliminary examinations. Fruit train అనేది it's related to what, and it's bananas. Okay, and the department has also roped in 6 corporate firms in collaboration with the local farmers. Right? Okay. Higher price వచ్చేలా they చూస్తున్నారు. And if you see the banana production productivity, in terms of production, AP tops other states with an acre of 1.1 lakh hectares under banana cultivation. Tamil Nadu stands second, and it's exported to Middle East countries also, UAE, Bahrain, Egypt, and so on. You can see the exports ఎంత రైజ్ అయిందో 2016 నుంచి 246 నుంచి 45,000 అయింది. So banana is an extremely important crop for AP horticulture. So please make separate notes on it. You can expect a separate question also. Okay, because it's in news also. Now let us move on to our editorial section. The first editorial, it focuses on the perils of prematurely imparted literacy. So basically it says that it begins to introduce by saying ఏదన్నా విషయం అవుతుంటే ఒక ఓవర్హాల్ అవ్వడం ఇట్ విల్ గివ్ అ లాస్టింగ్ మెమరీ. లైక్ ఒక చైల్డ్ ఫస్ట్ టైం బైసైకిల్ నేర్చుకున్నప్పుడు వాడికి జీవితాంతం గుర్తుండిపోతుంది. సో అలాంటి ఓవర్హాల్ కెన్ గివ్ అ లాస్టింగ్ మెషినరీ, అండ్ మెషిన్స్ ఇంప్రూవ్ క్వైట్ రాడికలీ overhaul. But social systems like education, they behave more like living beings, as they carry legacies and tendencies rooted in wider social ethos. That is the introduction, a very good introduction. See, for essay, you need this sort of language and this sort of introductions. And you can see here, I'm sorry for the uh, disturbance here. So the national education policy, it offers to revise and revamp the system of education. And there's a brief background of how it came. But here you can see the main gist of the article is one significant shift of NEP, which it proposes, is reorganization of elementary education. Presently, as మీ అందరికి తెలిసినట్టు, we have 8 years of schooling with grade 1 at age 6, as Article 45 of Constitution it envisaged. 8 years from grade 1 we have age 6 నుంచి. Now the right to education, it promulgated, it treats these 8 years as composite stage of 5 years of primary and 3 years of upper primary education, right? అంటే 6 to 14 ఏదైతే దాని గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. So the 6 to 14 years right to education ఏదైతే ఉందో that has been there. Now NEP, it offers a surgical procedure of, you can see here, where it will graph the first 2 grades onto 3 years of preschool education. So it looks great as it starts a child's education journey from age of 3. But this is an historic break from the Kothari report. Kothari report lo ela undi, at present 10 plus 2 structure, that was because of the Kothari report. And NEP, it proposes a new structure. Instead of 10 plus 2, so 10 years of schooling and plus 2 ఎలా అయితే ఉందో దాన్ని 5 plus 3 plus 4 చేస్తున్నారు. Now the first 5 years, it would include the 3 years of preschool education with grade 1 and 2. Preschool plus first and second classes. ఇవన్నీ 5 yearsలో వస్తాయి. ఇంతకుముందు ఇక్కడ నుంచే స్టార్ట్ అయింది. And although wide spectrum of goals is mentioned for the preschool years, the main focus is making child school ready for reading, writing, and arithmetic. And the term used is foundational literacy and numeracy. And this is also called as prerequisite to learning. And if you visit a nursery in any part of the country, you will see 3 to 4-year-old reciting the English alphabet. So the idea is that alphabet and numbers are the initial part of learning. Because if reading and writing are two fundamental skills, the child needs to develop it very early. Okay, that is what we think. But from here, the author critically examines, he says that the older perspective is that reading starts with familiarity with the alphabet. According to this, a child must learn, recognize individual letters and child first. And scientific research on how our eyes and minds process a written text has made no decisive difference. The author says that a child's search for meaning is a far sounder basis for learning than to read mechanical practices like letter recognition and associating letters with their names and sound values. So prematurely acquired literacy can be harmful, and it can create a habit which is difficult to remedy later, or ignoring the message. So this is the most important paragraph from the article. ఇప్పుడు సింపుల్ వర్డ్స్లో చెప్పాలంటే చిన్న పిల్లలు 3 to 4 years పిల్లలు కూడా దే బిగిన్ టు మకప్ ఇంగ్లీష్ ఆల్ఫాబెట్ అండ్ నంబర్స్, బట్ దట్ ఈస్ యూస్లెస్ బికాస్ అక్కడ నుంచి ద చైల్డ్ డస్ నాట్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ద వర్డ్ హీస్ రీడింగ్. ద చైల్డ్ కెన్ మగప్ ఈఎల్ఈ పిహెచ్ఏఎన్టి ఎలిఫెంట్, బట్ ఎలిఫెంట్ అనేది ఎలా కనబడుతుందో దాని మీనింగ్ ఏంటో అది అది ఎక్కడ ఉంటుందో అది తెలియాలి. అండ్ దట్ ఈస్ అ మోర్ సౌండర్ బేసిస్ ఫర్ లర్నింగ్ అంటున్నారు. సో రీడింగ్ వితౌట్ రిలేటింగ్ టు టెక్స్ట్ టు ఇట్స్ ఆథర్ is far more common than using one's ability to read in order to make sense of the text. And similarly, if you see writing also, in writing, it is basically conveying meaning of one's ideas to someone else. So it becomes a meaningful activity when an intended audience begins to matter to the small child. If no need is felt for audience acquisition becomes merely mechanical skill. సో ఏబిసి ఇవి నేర్చుకున్నాక ఆ మీనింగ్ ఏదైతే ద చైల్డ్ ఇస్ అబౌట్ టు express. Like if the child writes the words mother, and if he or she is expressing that this is mother and అమ్మకు చూపించినప్పుడు అప్పుడు there is some sense to what the child is writing, and that can start only at a later age, not at 3 to 4 years. Similarly, mathematics offers to the child a sense of making sense of the world, but the desire to relate different objects arises with widening of experience. So there's a lot of analysis similarly about the national education policy and the 5+3+4 ikkadi article lo. But manaki exam kosam the gist is this much, that this may be counterproductive based on the modern research in education and education technology and research. The problem is there is a culture of speed on all spheres of school life. Middle class parents, they set the norm for this culture by pushing their infants to consume various products sold in the pedagogy market. And the teaching market, school market lo edaithe undo, parents force their children. And basically the author doesn't give a very strong way forward here, but the social reality makes early childhood education present from mixed blessing. By promoting foundational literacy and numeracy as a key educational target, we are likely to stress further an already embattled childhood. Okay, although nurseries they routinely use playway, their programs are mostly a downward extension of the school. So there is problem of this preschool thing and దీన్ని ఎలా చేయాలో అని is saying. So ఎప్పుడైనా న్యూ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పాలసీ పైన డెఫినెట్లీ దెర్ ఇస్ బౌండ్ టు బి అ క్వశ్చన్. ఇన్ ఏపీపీఎస్సీ అయితే 100% విల్ బి అ క్వశ్చన్. యూ కెన్ ఈవెన్ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద ఎస్ఏ పార్ట్. సో అక్కడ సమ్ 2-3 లైన్స్ యూ కెన్ ఎక్స్పాండ్ ఆన్ దిస్ క్రిటికల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. ప్రీ స్కూల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ చేస్తే డేంజర్ ఏంటి అని. ఓకే, the next article in the editorial page basically deals with the entire agricultural marketing sector and the changes which are made and their critical issues. Okay, so this is a very important article. I would advise you to make comprehensive notes from this article, and I'll read through it almost line by line so that you can understand the article in its entirety. Now recently there have been several reforms, as you know, as we have also discussed last week. There were removal of restrictions. EC Essential Commodities Act లో restrictions తీశారు. So farmers of cereals, pulses, oil seeds, now ఎప్పుడైతే వాళ్ళకి బిఫోర్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ adversely impacted private assessment, అది ఇప్పుడు వెళ్ళిపోయింది. Similarly, there are ordinances, 2 new ordinances దేంతో అయితే interstate trade and contract farming can come up in a large number. We discussed all this, kada, EC and the ordinances. But here the article says there are several difficulties which need to be addressed before the full benefits of policies are realized. The first is the time consistency or the policy credibility. Ante oka decision maker preference, it can change over time in such a way that preferences are inconsistent. You'll understand this as we discuss the policies which came. Like in 2016, ENAM was launched. as you're aware, ENAM, which was touted to be the biggest change in agricultural marketing, it was launched. In 585 markets across 16 states were covered. So states ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో they had to amend their APMC acts to put in place pre three prerequisites: a single license, single point levy of market fee, electronic auctioning in all markets. Okay, అంటే ఒకటే license throughout the state. You can briefly see here single license and they all through the state single license and all, because APMCs lo there are multiple licenses, and there is problem of the licensing part for the agents. Similarly, there should be a single point levy of market fee, and of course e-auctioning. E-auctioning is the ఆ పేరులోనే ఉంది కదా మనకి ENAM అని. So these three are the crucial factors of ENAM, and several states could not or did not care about these amendments. So దీనివల్ల there was a backlash. Then came the PM Asha program. The main objective of the PM Asha was to provide assured price to farmers that ensured a return of at least 50% more than cost of cultivation. So MSP was basically fixed of the cost of cultivation plus 50%. And this was confined to pulses and oilseeds to limit the fiscal costs, although many crops which did not receive benefits of MSP procurement also needed this coverage. And public procurement, deficiency payments, and private procurement were the main planks. Okay, public procurement అంటే government procuring under the MSME. The next is the deficiency payments. అంటే మేము ప్రొక్యూర్ చేయలేకపోయినా the remainder will be paid to you. And the third is private procurement. అంటే it's outsourced to private players. These are the planks of PM Asha. However, public procurement was carried out in a meaningful way, and deficiency payment were implemented only in Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh lo there is the Bhavantar Bhugtan Yojana. దీంట్లో అయితే మీకు ఎంఎస్ఎంఈకి తగినట్టు మేము తీసుకోలేకపోయినా మీకు ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ ఇచ్చేస్తామని. But the initial outlay did not match the level of ambition. Outlay 4,700 crores ఇచ్చారు, but study by Institute of Economic Growth shows that a much larger outlay is required. Okay, and in addition, two model acts were also launched to promote agriculture marketing and contract farming. So 2017 lo the Agricultural Marketing and Livestock Marketing Act model act చేశారు. Agricultural marketing with a contract, the model act, and 2018 lo model contract farming act. Okay, these two were also passed. However, there is no progress made because, as we saw, the outlay was less, and దీనివల్ల they revolved the PM Kisan interim budget Feb 2019 lo, and because it was the election year also, 6,000 rupees per annum to each farm household, 75,000 crores budget outlay petti it was launched. And with the onset of COVID-19, improving the market functioning received attention. So it put recently, ENAM has been scaled to cover 415 more markets to sell and transport directly the FPOs. And government also announced many measures on May 15th for major marketing reforms, as we saw above. Now here, the author says there are some issues which impeded the success of the earlier initiatives, and this is bound to take place again. So the first issue is, which we have seen like time inconsistency. అంటే ఇనీషియలీ మీరు ఒక మార్కెట్ బేస్డ్ ఈనాం పెట్టారు, దాన్నే లేటర్ పబ్లిక్ ఫండెడ్ పిఎం ఆశా చేశారు. సో ప్రైవేట్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ కెనాట్ టేక్ పార్ట్ ఇన్ దిస్ ప్రాపర్లీ, బికాస్ ఒకసారి పబ్లిక్ ఫండెడ్ నుంచి ప్రైవేట్ ఫండ్ నుంచి పబ్లిక్ ఫండెడ్ అలా అవుతుంది. అండ్ సెకండ్ ఇస్ ద సెంటర్ స్టేట్ అండ్ స్టేట్ రిలేషన్స్. So we had discussed this in the first article, like In a CM's meet, there have been issues raised up against agriculture marketing. It is because of this implementation best with the states, because basically agriculture అనేది basically it's a state subject, right? So since it's a state subject, the implementation lies with the states. So coordination between central and state governments is crucial. And many states have faced several program problems in implementing the earlier model acts. So centers should engage with the states to iron them out. And the third issue is multiple market failures and resultant interlinkage of rural markets. So there are some rural markets also, like e-gram, or GRAMS ఏదైతే తెచ్చారో, సో ది రూరల్ మార్కెట్స్ అవి. అండ్ ఆ రూరల్ మార్కెట్స్ని ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేయలేకపోతున్నారు. సో absence and failure of credit and insurance for the market, they make the farmer depend on the local input dealer. సో అర్హతియాస్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళపైన the farmer gets dependent. Okay, this may tie him with intermediaries and strain his choice of output markets. So ఏదైతే సింగిల్ పాయింట్ లెవీ ఉందో that becomes redundant. And the reforms in the output market alone are not sufficient, and they must be complemented with the liberalization of lease market credit insurance also. So basically the gist is there should be consistent policy, collaborative approach, and complementary reforms. Okay, this is a very nice article. He's CSC Shekhar is a professor of economics at IIEG. So you can actually quote him, and that would it would give a good impression to the examiner. According to CSC Shekhar, of the professor of economics at Institute of Economic Growth, there are some way forward, like there should be a policy consistency, there should be collaboration, and there can be complementary reforms. So generally, at the last we gave a question on the agricultural marketing reforms. So అలాంటి బ్రాడ్ క్వశ్చన్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఈనా మీద యూ కెన్ రైట్ 250 వర్డ్స్ కదా. అలాగే పిఎం ఆశా పైన యూ కెన్ రైట్ 250 వర్డ్స్, ఆర్ పిఎం కిసాన్ పైన యూ కెన్ రైట్ 250 వర్డ్స్. సో అలా కాకుండా మొత్తం ఆర్టికల్స్, if you just make a gist of this article, it would come in 250 words. So this is how you should approach the broad questions. Next article is making sense of the outer space, basically uncharted territory of outer space. It is written by Syed Akbaruddin, who has served as India's permanent representative of the UN, who's actually a famous diplomat also. So outer space anedi, it is an area of memorable technology demonstrations. Like Russia Sputnik ఎప్పుడైతే ఫస్ట్ వచ్చిందో, అలాగే యూఎస్ఏ అపోలో 11, దే ఆర్ మెటఫోర్స్ ఆఫ్ జియో పొలిటికల్ కాంపిటీషన్. అండ్ ఇండియాలో వీ హ్యావ్ చంద్రయాన్ అండ్ మంగళయాన్. సో సెవెరల్ స్పేస్ ఈవెంట్స్ దే ఆర్ ప్లాన్డ్ బిఫోర్ ద COVID-19 pandemic, and the launch of mission to Mars by China, and US with UAE Mars orbiter ఇలాంటివన్నీ, అండ్ కంప్లీషన్ ఆఫ్ బైడు ఇది చైనాది. And Russia kuda, they conducted a non-destructive test of space-based anti-satellite weapon. And India lo kuda, we have seen Mission Shakti. And if you see the growth, NASA's space shuttle costs about $54,000 per kg. And SpaceX Falcon ఏదైతే ఉందో by Elon Musk, దాన్ని కూడా చూస్తే there is 2,700 per kg. And this could be less than 100 per kg అవ్వచ్చు in a decade. So దీనివల్ల there's a lot of scope for commercialization. Okay, and basically the author, he tries to focus on how it can be commercialized and the importance of space sector. But the important part of this article is there are some challenges to fulfill the potential of space. The first is outer space. As outer space becomes democratized, commercialized, and crowded, multilateral framework is becoming obsolete. So space law అనేది, it's a product of golden age of two decades, 1960s and 1970s. So we have the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. దానిలో ఏం ఇచ్చారంటే, the province of all mankind space, and it is not subject to national appropriation by claims of sovereignty. and Rescue Agreement, Space Liability Convention, Space Registration Convention, they were expanded with provisions of OST. Similarly, there is a Moon Treaty also about treating Moon, as a common good of mankind, 1979 law. So both of these, but this was not ratified only. So this didn't come. And the space law, it doesn't have a dispute resolution mechanism. This is a problem. So it's silent on collisions and debris. And the second, so the first problem is with the space treaty in international governance. The second is that legal framework is state centric. It places responsibility on states alone. But now presently we are seeing there are many non-space entities like Elon Musk, the SpaceX, and some states are providing framework for resource recovery through private investment. Like Donald Trump, he had given an executive order on encouraging international support for recovery and use of space resources of April 2020. Like there is a asteroid named 16 Psyche. దాని నుంచి, if the heavy metals are taken, it can be worth $10,000 quadrillion. Can you imagine? So there is a huge scope for commercialization and the private sector, role of private sector, kuda, how to handle it is a issue which can be taking place. And the third is that strategists, they extol the virtues of holding the high ground. Like space is the highest ground. And states are investing in military space systems for communication, navigation, and so on. So there is reliance of militaries for space system also is being taken place. Okay, military. And despite the concerns in military activity, there is no much progress in addressing them. The UNGA passed a resolution prevention of arms race in outer space in 1982, and Chinese and Russian backed treaty proposals were initiated in 2008. But for various legal, technical, and political reasons, they didn't advance at the CD, the Conference of Disarmament. So basically, the way forward is there is a need for space legislation. Like India has invested enormous resources in space program through ISRO, and more importantly, our space assets are crucial for India's development. And they include landing on Moon, first Indian solar observatory, first crewed orbital spaceflight mission, installation of modular space station by 2030. These are our trademark missions. Okay, like Chandrayaan 2, which we attempted Vikram lander, it was only 95% success, and India's solar observatory, so మనకి ఆదిత్య మిషన్ నుంచి, and installation of modular human spaceflight mission, which is the Gaganyaan, and a space station by 2030. So the proposed involvement of private players and creation of autonomous body in space under Department of Space for permitting and regulating activities for private sector are welcome efforts. There is an autonomous body in space, which is basically Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. This for regulating the activities of private sector. So there are several such. You should understand Antrix ఉంది for commercial efforts. అలాగే న్యూగా NSIL వచ్చింది by ISRO. ఇవి కాకుండా for regulating the private sector in space was launched. And India requires to go beyond meeting technical milestones. We need a space legislation enabling across technical, legal, commercial, and diplomatic versions. And our space vision also addresses global governance, regulatory, arms control issues. Okay, so this is a very important editorial regarding space legislation. ఇప్పటివరకు I haven't seen any article on space legislation in newspaper at least last 3-4 months నుంచి. And this is, since it's by Syed Akbaruddin also, it holds a lot of weight. So the next article is the Supreme Court urged to set up 11 judge bench to review cap on quota. So they were hearing the Maratha reservation law. ఇప్పుడు మహారాష్ట్రలో they have given 12 to 13% quota for community in Maharashtra, more than the 50% cap. సో ఇప్పుడు రిజర్వేషన్స్లో యాజ్ మీకు తెలిసినట్టయితే దెర్ ఇస్ అ 50% రిజర్వేషన్ క్యాప్, అంటే 50% వరకే ఉండొచ్చు రిజర్వేషన్స్ స్టేట్లో. దట్ వాస్ ఆఫ్టర్ ద ఇందిరా సాని కేస్. Okay, but this was breached by Maharashtra by giving reservations for the Maratha community, and also in the center level also, if you see, um, there is a EWS reservation which has been given kada, 10% reservation which is given for the central government examinations and employment. So the lawyers, they are telling that ఒక 11 judge bench పెట్టాలి, ఎందుకంటే ఇందిరా సాని case is almost 30 years old, and the lawyers submitted that the court should revisit percentage of reservation taking into consideration the various developments like 10% quota. And Mr. Kapil Sibal, he had told that the amendments to Article 15 and 16 are both for empowerment and employment of backward classes. And empowerment of backward classes is a different concept from mere employment. Okay, Article 15 and Article 16 have not been interpreted in the context of Indira Sawhney judgment. That's it. So others anta political type undi news, but the most important is there be a 11 judge bench to take up this revision of 50% reservation. So the last articles from an economic pages, India risks stagnation if GDP doesn't grow over 8% annually. So according to McKinsey Global Institute, they're saying India should grow 8 to 8.5% to create opportunities in post-COVID era. Lekapothe there will be a decade of stagnating incomes and quality of life. So a lot of reforms need to be taken in the next 12 to 18 months with increasing productivity and creating jobs. So way forward for the Indian economy post-COVID would be India will have to create triple the job creation to 12 million gainful non-farm jobs from 4 million in 2013 to 2018. And GDP, edaithe it can contract over 5% in FY21, India needs to grow at 8 to 8.5%, which is the headlines. And on the reforms front, it needs reforms in manufacturing, real estate, agriculture, healthcare, and so on. Similarly, financial sector reforms kuda kavali to deliver the 2.5 trillion investment while boosting entrepreneurship by lowering the cost of capital and creation of bad bank for dead assets. Similarly, bulk 60% of reforms will be undertaken by states and remaining 40 by center. And the MGI pointed out that manufacturing and construction sector, they offer the most opportunities. Manufacturing and construction. So when you're writing on, if there's an answer on, economy, role of economy and how it's impacted, all that we've discussed. But the changes which have to be taken place actually quote, according to the McKinsey Global Institute, India has to take up like tripling the job creation and growing 8 to 8.5%. Or sectors ని ఎలా హ్యాండిల్ చేయాలి, ఫైనాన్షియల్ సెక్టర్లో ఏం తేవాలి, యూ కెన్ మెన్షన్ 2-3 lines అంతే ఈ ఆర్టికల్ జస్ట్. అండ్ అనదర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆర్టికల్ ఫర్ ఫ్రమ్ అ ప్రిలిమ్స్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూ ఇస్ గుజరాత్ టాప్స్ ఎక్స్పోర్ట్స్ ఇండెక్స్. సో ఎక్స్పోర్ట్ ప్రిపేర్డ్నెస్ ఇండెక్స్ అని ఈపీఐ, ఇట్ ఈస్ బిన్ గివెన్ బై నీతి ఆయోగ్. దీంట్లో గుజరాత్ హ్యాస్ టాప్డ్. గుజరాత్ మీకు గుర్తుండకపోయినా ద ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఇస్ export preparedness index is prepared by whom అని they can be a question. It's prepared by whom, and options A, B, C, D. Okay, and D option లో నీతి ఆయోగ్ ఇస్తారేమో. Generally the correct option last పెట్టి to waste your time, so you can attempt such questions. You should actually remember what are the reports and what are the indexes. Fine. Like for example, ease of doing business is given by the World Bank ఎలా అయితే ఉందో, but it is linked with నీతి. And the other states which have made it include Rajasthan, Odisha, Telangana, and so on. And E-index lo it ranks states based on policy, business ecosystem, export ecosystem, and export performance. Mostly coastal states are best performers. Fine. So, with that, we can wrap up our discussion on today's newspaper. Today, it was a very lengthy newspaper. I felt a lot of articles were there, so I didn't go a lot into their background. But please make note of the important APPSC news. I feel it's very important today. And you can attempt these mains questions. Examine the changes by national education policy with respect to schooling. So you should basically focus on the 5 plus 3 plus 4 structure ఏదైతే కొత్తగా వచ్చిందో from the 10 plus 2. And how will the change transform education actually? So the critical aspect of just reading, writing కన్నా దాని మీనింగ్ అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి. Or some other aspects of కస్తూరి రంగన్ ప్యానెల్ ఎలాగైతే ప్రీ స్కూల్ పెట్టారో బట్ రైట్ టు ఎడ్యుకేషన్ని ప్రిక్లూడ్ చేస్తుంది అది అలాంటివి రాయాలి. దిస్ ఐ థింక్ యూ కెన్ రైట్ ఫర్ 150 words, 10 marks. Our polity teacher was actually correct. మీరు రాసి if you submit on the telegram group లో there is the account ఈ తరగతి, రైట్? ఆ అకౌంట్కి మీరు సబ్మిట్ చేసినట్టయితే అట్లీస్ట్ బై 4 o'clock బై నైట్ submit corrected answer sheet will be given back to you. The next article is what are the agricultural marketing reforms taken up by Government of India? Critically analyze their performance. This is a more lengthy question. You can write for 250 words, 15 marks. Okay. So the entire reforms ENAM నుంచి PM Asha and PM Kisan ఎలాగైతే చేశారో and వాటి problems ఏంటి, దాని problems we have seen, like there are problems of collaboration and of consistency in policy making లేదు, and complementary reforms చేయాలి. అదంతా if you expand on the article you can cover in 250 words. Fine. So thank you friends for listening to today's class, and hopefully we really want you to write answers on this, because now you have answers if you're preparing for APPC Group 1 especially. ఇలాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ డెఫినెట్లీ మీ గ్రూప్ 1లో అడగడం జరుగుతుంది, అండ్ మీరు రోజు ఒక 2 ఆన్సర్స్ రాస్తే ఇట్ వుడ్ బి పర్ఫెక్ట్ ప్రాక్టీస్ ఫర్ యువర్ మెయిన్స్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్. సో ప్లీజ్ రైట్ అండ్ సబ్మిట్ టు us, and we shall meet tomorrow. Thank you and all the best. Keep studying hard.